Welcome to our channel World Analysis. Today, we will discuss top 10 terrorists in the world. The world is a complex place, full of shadows and those who lurk within them. Tonight, we illuminate those shadows. We shine a light on a dangerous reality, the ever-present threat of global terrorism. This isn't about inciting fear, but about understanding a very real threat to our collective safety and security. Over the next 10 individuals, we will delve into the depths of extremism, exploring the lives, ideologies, and actions of the world's most dangerous terrorists.
Ayman al-Zawahiri, a name that sends chills down the spines of many. As the leader of al-Qaeda, he picked up the bloody mantle from Osama bin Laden, becoming the heir to a legacy of terror. But al-Zawahiri is no mere successor. He's a strategist, a mastermind who seeks to exploit chaos and instability. His goal? To establish a global caliphate, a world governed by his twisted interpretation of Islamic law. Al-Zawahiri's tactics are as insidious as they are deadly. He operates through a network of affiliates, each one a tentacle of a global terror organization. From the Arabian Peninsula to the Horn of Africa, these groups sow discord, perpetrate violence, and threaten the very fabric of stability. Al-Zawahiri's reach extends far beyond any single battlefield. He understands the power of propaganda, of exploiting grievances and manipulating narratives. His words, often delivered through chilling video messages, incite hatred and inspire violence, poisoning minds across the globe. But al-Zawahiri is not invincible. He is a man, a dangerous one to be sure, but still susceptible to the pressures of the world he seeks to plunge into darkness. The fight against him and his ideology is a long and arduous one, requiring unwavering resolve and global cooperation. We must remain vigilant, for the threat al-Zawahiri poses is not confined to distant battlefields. It lurks in the shadows, waiting for an opportunity to strike at the very heart of our societies.
Yemen, a nation teetering on the brink, ravaged by conflict and humanitarian crisis. It is here, amidst the chaos, that Nasir al-Wuhayshi, the leader of al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, AQAP, has carved out his own domain of terror. Wuhayshi is a survivor, a man who has stared death in the face and emerged from the abyss even more resolute in his convictions. His escape from a Yemeni prison in 2006 was a testament to his cunning and ruthlessness, a stark warning of the threat he posed. Under Wuhayshi's leadership, AQAP has flourished, transforming itself from a regional menace into a global threat. They have mastered the art of bomb-making, their deadly devices targeting not just military installations, but also civilians, innocent men, women and children caught in the crossfire of extremism. Wuhayshi understands the power of fear, of exploiting the desperation of a nation teetering on the brink. He offers a false promise of salvation, a twisted vision of a world governed by his interpretation of Islamic law. But Wuhayshi's reign of terror will not last forever. The international community is united in its resolve to dismantle AQAP, to bring Wuhayshi and his followers to justice. Their efforts are focused on cutting off the flow of funds and fighters, on exposing the emptiness of their ideology, and on offering a path towards a brighter future for the people of Yemen.
In the dark world of terrorism, Ibrahim al-Asiri is a name whispered with a mix of fear and grudging respect. He is not a leader of armies or a charismatic ideologue, but a technician of terror, a master bomb maker whose lethal creations have brought death and destruction to multiple continents. Al-Asiri's bombs are not crude, cobbled-together devices, but sophisticated instruments of death, designed to evade detection and maximize casualties. He is a master of disguise, concealing explosives in everyday objects, turning the mundane into the deadly. His most chilling innovation is the use of suicide bombers, individuals transformed into living weapons, their bodies mere vessels for his deadly creations. The 2009 Christmas Day bomb plot, a failed attempt to bring down a passenger jet over Detroit, was a chilling testament to al-Asiri's reach and his willingness to strike at the heart of the West. The hunt for al-Asiri is a race against time, a desperate scramble to prevent the next attack, to dismantle his network before he can unleash his deadly creations upon the world. Intelligence agencies across the globe are working tirelessly, sharing information, tracking his movements, and trying to penetrate the veil of secrecy that surrounds him.
Chapter 4. Ahmed Abdi Godain, Exporting Terror, the Rise of Al-Shabaab. From the Horn of Africa, a new breed of terror emerged. A group once confined to Somalia's borders, now casting a long shadow across the region and beyond. This is Al-Shabaab, and at its helm stood Ahmed Abdi Godain, a man driven by a toxic mix of ideology and ambition. Godain transformed Al-Shabaab from a localized insurgency into a formidable terrorist organization, one capable of launching devastating attacks beyond Somalia's borders. Under his leadership, they carried out a campaign of terror, targeting civilians, government officials, and even peacekeepers. Godain understood the power of spectacle, of using violence to instill fear and project an image of strength. The 2013 attack on the Westgate Mall in Nairobi, Kenya, which claimed the lives of 67 people, was a chilling demonstration of Al-Shabaab's ruthlessness and their ability to strike at the heart of a bustling metropolis. But Godain's reign of terror would eventually come to an end. In a U.S. airstrike, he was killed, a significant blow to the organization he had so ruthlessly led. But Al-Shabaab remains a potent threat, their ideology warped and their methods brutal. The fight against Al-Shabaab is far from over. It requires a multifaceted approach, one that addresses the root causes of extremism, strengthens regional security forces, and provides a viable alternative to the poisonous ideology peddled by groups like Al-Shabaab.
Chapter 5. Mokhtar Belmokhtar, a threat forged in the Sahara. The vast Sahara Desert, a desolate landscape of scorching sand and unforgiving terrain, has become a haven for extremists, a breeding ground for groups like Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, or Al-Qaeda. And among the most dangerous figures to emerge from this volatile region is Mokhtar Belmokhtar, a one-eyed veteran of jihad, known for his ruthlessness and his ability to exploit the lawlessness of the Sahel region. Belmokhtar rose to prominence as a commander in Al-Qaeda, but his ambitions soon outgrew the confines of the organization. He broke away, forming his own group, those who side with blood, a chillingly apt name given their penchant for violence. The world was given a stark reminder of Belmokhtar's capabilities in 2013, when his fighters stormed the In Amenas gas plant in Algeria. The ensuing siege and the brutal deaths of dozens of hostages, including several foreigners, sent shockwaves through the international community.
Chapter 6. Abu Muhammad al-Julani, the shadow commander of al-Nusra. In the crucible of the Syrian civil war, amidst the rubble of a shattered nation, a new breed of terrorist organization emerged, the al-Nusra Front. And at its helm stood Abu Muhammad al-Julani, a shadowy figure whose past is shrouded in mystery, but whose present actions paint a chilling portrait of a man driven by a radical ideology. Al-Julani is a master of strategy and deception. He understands the power of propaganda, of using the chaos of war to further his own agenda. He has presented al-Nusra as a defender of the Syrian people, while in reality, they have committed horrific atrocities, targeting civilians, carrying out suicide bombings, and enforcing their strict interpretation of Islamic law through brutality and fear. Al-Julani's true allegiance is a subject of much debate. Some believe he remains loyal to Ayman al-Zawahiri, while others speculate that he has broken away from Al-Qaeda, seeking to establish his own caliphate amidst the chaos of Syria. Regardless of his ultimate goals, one thing is certain: Al-Julani and the al-Nusra Front pose a grave threat to the stability of the region and beyond.
Chapter 7. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the rise and fall of ISIS. Few names have inspired as much fear and revulsion in recent years as Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the self-proclaimed caliph of the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, or ISIS. Under his brutal leadership, ISIS transformed from a fringe group into a global terrorist organization, notorious for its barbarity, its sophisticated propaganda machine, and its ability to inspire a new generation of jihadists. Baghdadi was a master of exploiting chaos and instability. He capitalized on the Syrian civil war, seizing vast swathes of territory in both Syria and Iraq, declaring a caliphate, and imposing his twisted interpretation of Islamic law upon the terrified populace. The world watched in horror as ISIS released gruesome videos of beheadings, mass executions, and the destruction of ancient cultural sites. Their reign of terror extended far beyond the battlefield as they carried out or inspired attacks in cities across the globe, from Paris to Brussels to Istanbul. Chapter 8. Sirajuddin Haqqani, heir to Afghanistan's legacy of violence. In the rugged mountains of Afghanistan, where war has raged for decades, the Haqqani network has carved out its own fiefdom of terror. Led by Sirajuddin Haqqani, they are considered one of the most dangerous and ruthless insurgent groups in the region, responsible for countless attacks that have claimed the lives of civilians, Afghan security forces, and international troops. Under Sirajuddin's leadership, the Haqqani network has honed its tactics, employing suicide bombings, complex ambushes, and high-profile kidnappings to sow terror and destabilize the Afghan government. They have proven to be a resilient and adaptable enemy, weathering years of military operations and drone strikes.
Chapter 9. Abubakar Shekau, Boko Haram's Reign of Terror. From the dusty plains of northeastern Nigeria, a nightmare emerged. Boko Haram, a jihadist group whose name translates to Western education is forbidden. Led by the enigmatic and ruthless Abubakar Shekau, they have unleashed a wave of violence and terror upon Nigeria and neighboring countries, leaving a trail of death, displacement, and despair in their wake. Boko Haram's tactics are as brutal as they are indiscriminate. They have targeted schools, churches, mosques, and markets, massacring innocent civilians, kidnapping women and children, and forcing thousands to flee their homes in terror. Their reign of terror has created a humanitarian crisis of staggering proportions, displacing millions and leaving countless lives shattered. Chapter 10. Doku Umarov, the Caucasus Emirate, and Russia's homegrown terror. In the volatile North Caucasus region of Russia, where simmering resentment towards Moscow has fueled decades of conflict, Doku Umarov emerged as a figurehead of terror, the self-proclaimed Emir of the Caucasus Emirate, a group waging a bloody insurgency against Russian rule. Umarov was a master of exploiting the grievances of the Chechen people, channeling their anger and frustration into a campaign of violence that targeted civilians and security forces alike. He embraced suicide bombings, a tactic that instilled fear far beyond the borders of the Caucasus.
Outro, combating a complex threat. The individuals we've profiled represent a diverse array of ideologies, motivations, and tactics, but they are united by their willingness to resort to violence, to terrorize innocent people in pursuit of their twisted goals. It is a fight that demands unwavering resolve, a commitment to justice, and a recognition that true security lies not just in combating terrorism, but in addressing the root causes that give rise to such hatred and violence in the first place. For more interesting videos, please subscribe our channel World Analysis and like, comments, share our videos to get your favorite topics on future.